It was the beginning of 2014. It was like January or February, I think. The Xbox One had just come out. It had that very turbulent launch of like mandatory DRM, mandatory Connect, $100 more than the PS4.
Man, those were dark
games
days.
to play, underpowered, everything's 900p. And Xbox is really looking for a W because they just taking lots of L's. And come February, it might have been March, but I think it was February of 2014, a couple months after the console is out, there's this new user on the forum NeoGaf, and they make a thread. And I don't remember all the details. If I could have went and probably found it before this podcast and got you accurate details, but I'm just going to tell it from memory. This new user who was verified by the NeoGaf moderation staff, verified meaning that the NeoGaf moderation staff said that this person was legit and did know what they were talking about. So whether that's because they showed that they worked at Microsoft, whether that's because they had some kind of internal document, we don't know. They were verified. And this user said that there was going to be a Halo War Collection announced later at E3 time in 2014. They called it the War Collection. And if I remember right, they said that it was going to be a remaster of Halo 2, and I think Halo 1 was going to be packaged with it, but then there was going to be like a DLC option to add on Halo 3 and Halo 4 if you wanted it for the War Collection, which is like, I like how they just, in this post, they just treat Halo 3 and 4 like, an add-on. Like, anybody wouldn't want to buy those.
Like, it's, I mean? they're afterthoughts.
Yeah, so basically, like, this person leaking this information was saying there's going to be this Halo War Collection where they're remastering Halo 2, and they're going to have all the maps and multiplayer for Halo 1 and Halo 2, and they're going to have this bonus. You can get Halo 3 and 4. It's called the Master Chief War. It's called the Halo the War Collection. And it's going to be coming this year, and you should be super excited. It's as good as it sounds. And there were even like, because Microsoft's in Redmond, Washington and stuff, and I remember the guy posting all this was like, there's going to be people in Redmond slamming their desks in anger because what I'm revealing here is true. And I remember just everybody on the thread was just freaking out, like, this sounds way too good to be true. Like, all these games and remastered.
Yeah, Brian, let me
War Collection.
Take a moment to ask you real quick.
Yeah.
You're seeing this at the time, and I remember back in those days, even now, for every 10 rumors that pop up around E3 season, there's always one that maybe turns out to be true out of those. So when you saw this and you're reading about it, are you thinking it's too good to be true, or are you thinking maybe, where are you at on that?
In the beginning, I thought it was absolutely fake, because I'm like, this is a new user. Like, you can tell that the user for the forum, he just created his account, like it was new.
Yeah.
And some things just seemed kind of weird. Like the War Collection just didn't sound right to me, and then like Halo 3 and 4 being like a paid additional add-on. I'm like, I just don't see that. Like, these don't seem like things that really happen in the gaming industry. But as the thread continued to grow, and the moderation staff of NeoGaf said that this person was verified, as in they were telling the truth, this was true, they had credible sources, I started to really believe it. And
believe it!
Yeah, and I was just really, I think there was a couple more things that made it seem believable. But I was like, wow, this is really happening. This is really coming. And I started to talk to Justin about it, and we started to tell Josh about it. Josh didn't have an Xbox One yet. And I think, Josh, you were a little skeptical at first, but you're like, man, if that's true, holy shit, I'm going to be so in.
It's weird, because I don't remember anything about the MCC up until that night. You started talking to me about Halo 4. Like, maybe we did actually talk about it. I just don't remember it
My
now.
guess is that we mentioned it to you, but you probably shrugged it off as like it doesn't sound real.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
Maybe it was. Yeah,
real.
hard to say no.
And my guess, like, a lot of people theorized this on NeoGaf back in the day, and it could be true, it could be false, but like, a lot of people theorized that this was a purposeful leak by Microsoft, and they purposely changed details to make it seem, like a leak. You know what I mean? Like, because the thing is, it was like, yeah, it wasn't called the War Collection, and Halo 3 and 4 weren't like add-ons you could buy, but like, in general, the existence of this collection and pretty much the contents of what would be there was pretty much accurate and there. all the way back in February. And this person just created an account, released all this true information, and then left and never came back again. I think their account name on NeoGaf was Nocturnal. So if you guys ever want to like research this yourself, Google NeoGaf, MCC, Nocturnal. You should be able to you probably find the original thread. But just the way it went down, a lot of people think that Microsoft needed some good PR. They weren't ready to announce it properly, and they had somebody, purposely leak it. Maybe not. I don't know. But so the hype began to build here that this could be a reason to really want to own an Xbox One, because at the time they'd shown a trailer off for Halo 5. They didn't.
Is that Poncho Chief? Was that one?
Yeah, Poncho Chief, and it wasn't called. They didn't even announce it as Halo 5 or Halo 5 Guardians. It was just Halo for Xbox. Also, if you remember, after that Poncho trailer, they said something like your Halo journey begins 2014, and everyone was like, well, Halo 4 just came out in 2012. It's been 7 months until
Microsoft.
Like, there's no way you're building Halo 5. But and then I remember when they officially announced MCC, I think it was Bonnie Ross was like, if you remember, we said your Halo journey will launch in 2014. And it was like, we weren't talking about the new Halo. We were talking about this collection. But anyway, so there's all this hype building around for this war collection for Halo. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was hard to picture, like, are we really going to get Halo 2 Anniversary? Because I'm like, Halo 1 Anniversary seemed like a shoo-in. Like, I thought that would exist for sure, and it did. And it was like, oh yeah, we knew this was going to happen. But like Halo 2, I thought maybe not, because what kind of trend are you going to set? Like, and also to think about this, if you go back to like 2010, guys, remasters and remakes weren't as common. Today, it's like everyone's remastered and remaking everything. But back then, it was like, are they really going to remaster or remake Halo 2? Because then are they going to have to do 3, and then they have to do ODST? Like, where is it going to end? And it seems like it was Halo 2. Makes sense because it's the only one that wasn't in HD. I know people still want Halo 3 and stuff like that. Maybe one day.
One day, I hope.
But yeah, so I mean, if you guys go back to beginning of 2014 when we're hearing this information, everyone who's an Xbox fan and has an Xbox One in their house, they have the fat VCR looking Xbox One.
It did look like a VCR, didn't it? Wow.
Yep. Everyone has a Kinect because at this time it was still mandatory, so you either had the Kinect in your house or you had bought it and sold it because you had to have it. And there was Rise, Son of Rome, which was a really fun launch day game that I enjoyed.
I love that.
I know
game.
A lot of people like it.
Deserved a sequel, man. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it wasn't like, it wasn't a reason to buy the system, in my opinion. But, the system was underpowered, the UI looked undercooked, you had to connect, you had, you like, the DRM was removed, but you had to buy the console and connect to the internet to remove the DRM, like there was a DRM removal patch. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
It was just, it was a dark time, Halo, whatever Halo 5 was going to be was far
the whole
out.
Xbox One era was just a dark time. And
it was
there
bad.
was light at the end of the tunnel by the end of it, but you knew the light at the end of the tunnel was the next gen, not actually that console gen, Like the series that when the One X came out, it was like, oh, it's getting more powerful. That's cool. It's outperforming the PlayStation, but like the PlayStation,
they needed a clean start.
Yeah, they did,
and they did
really
that with
did.
the Series X, Series S. But it also, you didn't know, like, was there going to be any more Gears? I know it was within that year that they announced they purchased the Gears IP from Epic. I don't know if it was before or after this MCC leak, but either way, it was either we didn't know if we'd ever get any more Gears, or if we were going to get Gears, it was going to be many years away because they just purchased it. Fable was dead. I was just like, what is there? Like, it was nothing. It was like, if this war collection isn't real, what?
You didn't know what to look forward to. It's interesting. I was excited for so many reasons for this, guys. I mean, obviously, for just getting the campaigns again to play them. But then I do remember having a conversation with Brian where he's catching me up on this because I don't think I did. I think he's right. I didn't watch it live, and he tells me that the multiplayer is going to be in it too, and I'm like, online? And he's like, yeah, all of them. And I was like, oh my god. And like, I flipped out, and it sounded too good to be true, but there it was.